Okay. So going further where we left. So first thing first, in the other session, in our first demo, we had just had a very basic overview of what is ServiceNow, for which I told you that ServiceNow is nothing but it is a ticketing tool. That is, tickets of certain kind we are going to create in there, correct? Then I gave you guys some example. Sorry, anyone, any query? Shrivas, can you please mute yourself, unmute if you have any query, please? Thank you. So then I told you guys that in what all cases, when I say it's a ticketing tool, what all kind of tickets will get created. So for that, I gave you guys example, like, let's say I need a new offering from the company. That is one kind of ticket. Other, I told you, I do have an offering already with me and today it's not working as desired. That is another scenario. So these are the two major cases, major scenarios in which you will be creating a ticket. Then in the other class, we also discussed that in comparison to your prior products, prior competitors, how ServiceNow gained the popularity. That is, what was the major reason for customers to transition? Why the customers transitioned from the prior tools to ServiceNow? Prior ticketing tools were there quite high in demand and with good market setup. But later on, they transitioned to ServiceNow only because the primary reason being what? The primary reason over there being that ServiceNow is nothing but it is a software as a service, whereas your all the other prior tools were what? They were working as a platform as a service. Correct? So these are some of the reasoning, some of the contributors in here. Now, proceeding further, as I was talking about that across the training, we'll be talking about different aspects of the tool. Development is also one part of it. So surely, yeah, in any learning curve, it should not be a one-way process. Obviously, at the end of the day, if I try, like if I'm learning something, if I try something, if I do the lab works, if I do the assignments, yeah, it gives me better understanding of the tool. So now the question arises, how will you guys practice the assignment, go through the instance or a URL or whatnot? So for easy learning and practice purpose, guys, ServiceNow provides free of cost demo URLs of the tool. When I say the name demo URL, it surely comes into our mind. It surely gives us understanding that these URLs are nothing but these can be used for demo purposes. Which means what? Which means if I'm using these URLs in here, I'll only be using for what? I'll only be using it for the learning purposes and whatnot. And these URLs, because they are free of cost, you must not use it for your org level thing. Like your organization can't use these demo URLs for the ticketing tool purpose. Any company, when they need the demo URL, when they need the URL, they must sign the contract with ServiceNow to get their own specific URL. Okay, so that's that. What next? So now the question arises, how will I get this demo URL? For you to get the demo URL, there is a website, guys. Everyone make a note of it. The website name is developer.servicenow.com. You must go into this website called developer.servicenow.com and create your account in here. When you create your account in here, what next? So you have to go in here, click on sign up and start building. And once you create your account there, you will, after creating your account there, you will get an option to request your own instance. That's what you need to click on. As I said, these URLs are free of cost and these are dedicated for training and learning purpose. Obviously, it has a star mark there. What is the star mark? The star mark is that you must log in once in a day. What if I don't log in? So if I don't log in once in a day, the URL goes in sleep. I can still wake it up. But if I don't log in for a week, I will lose the URL. Okay. So that's all about your demo URL setup. So I want every one of you to go after the session and try to get your demo URL configured. And obviously, if you have any query or concern, we can see that in the class. So now let's proceed further. So let's go back to our slide. Let's see where we're being. So yesterday, we were on this slide, that is, we were reading about that ServiceNow is nothing but it is a software platform. That is, I had told it to you that we will be accessing the tool how? We will be accessing the tool through the web-based interface, correct? The only prerequisite is you must have internet for you to access the tool. The next thing in here is what? The next configuration in here is it says that what does it do? It supports the IT service management and it is automating the common business process. What does that mean? So as I was giving you the example yesterday, guys, that through this platform, we are doing nothing but we are saying that day-to-day process of the company, that is day-to-day employee interaction of the company, will get automated via this tool. The employees, whenever they have to seek help from the other department, from the other employees will not do it manually. Rather, they'll communicate via creating a ticket into the tool. What was the need of ticketing tool? Anyone, any idea around that? Why was the ticketing tool required at the end of the day? Anyone wants to give it a try? The tool was required because, let's say, if I go into the history when there was no ticketing tool, the employees were still interacting, correct? If I need a laptop, I was still interacting. But for the employees to understand which technical team has to help was becoming a little overwhelming. I may be new to the company. I may not know, okay, which department is responsible for what. Or even if I'm part of the organization, it is not necessary for me to know every department, every member. So earlier, when a platform was not there to create tickets, people were communicating with each other manually. So for an employee to know that other employees, other department members, it was becoming a little overwhelming over there. So this was the reason from the end user, from the requester perspective. What was the issue from the technician's perspective was, let's say if I'm a technician, and let's say in my 8 working hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours is spending in helping the in-house employees, in helping my peer people and whatnot. When I'm helping the in-house employee, am I generating the direct revenue? No, I'm not. But yeah, obviously, when I'm helping the employees, they are able to do their work, means obviously indirectly, surely, this help is also generating some revenue for the company. So me as an employee, if I'm helping the other team members manually, obviously, yeah, it will not be tracked in a day. Let's say 2-3 hours daily is getting involved in helping the in-house employees. And if a tool is not there, if a ticketing tool is not there, these hours are not getting clocked anymore. So when the month end or year end comes up, my manager asks me my usability. I'm not able to justify what exactly I did. Because yeah, if a tool doesn't exist where I have recorded it, I can't justify that to my manager. Correct? So in that case, what will be the scenario? So in such particular case, it will always be better when what happens in such particular cases, it will always be better that even for the technician, if we have a platform through which whatever work he is doing, he is able to track it. Correct? So that was the other reason for which the tools like these were required. So that's about the base. Then yesterday I talked about software as a service. Then in this line, if you see, we are using multiple terms. Let's try to understand each and every one of it. So the first one I'm saying it is a software as a service which contains number of modular applications. As I was saying yesterday, guys, that obviously if a tool is there, it is not only going to be used for creating tickets of certain kind, rather, if you see service now, and that's what we will be covering anyway in the course, that the service now will be used for different purposes. It's not only that, request you will create, but we will even be using it for many different scenarios. So what will those are is what we will be covering in the course. We will talk about those in depth. So some of the key application, if I try to note down for you, one could be what? One could be that I will be creating a ticket. When what will happen, I'll be creating the ticket when I need a request. So that particular offering, which I've been using, which I've been referring as request, the application name in specific is called as your service catalog. The other application, when I'm facing issue, I have a product, I'm facing issue in that, then the application which I'll be using is called incident. So one is service catalog, new product, incident when something is broken. And as I said, rest every application, in fact, I'll not say every because yeah, today's service now is very vast, but we will try to cover most of the application as part of the course. Then we are saying in here that can vary by instance. So now surely we need to understand what do we mean by instance. What happens, guys, in your actual organization perspective? Let's say I'm a part of the ABC company and it goes to ServiceNow, signs the contract with ServiceNow. So as part of the base package, ServiceNow always offers minimum of 3 different URLs to your company. What are the 3 different URL? It offers dev URL, test URL, as well as the production or the go live URL. As the name itself says, the dev URL will be used by the developers. Who are developers? People like you and me, we are the ServiceNow developers. We will be developing something. If my company wants some new functionalities, some new changes to be done, everything will be built by the developers, always in the dev URL of ServiceNow. Let's say when I've completed my build, I'll move that build to the test environment where the testing team of my company will validate whether the requirement is working as expected or not. Third, last one but not the least, is the production of the go live URL, where actual customers will be creating ticket if and when required. So there are 3 URL: dev, test, production. We are always, as a developer, we are always going to do the build only or directly in the dev URL. We should never do the build in any other URL. Let's start. Then it says it can vary by user. What does that mean? So every employee of the company will have their account into the ServiceNow tool. Only the access wise, our permissions will be different into the tool. Which means what? Which means it could be possible that when I log in, I'm able to see certain application which you may not be able to log in, or vice versa. That's that. Make sense? Anyone any query till here, guys? Okay. So if not, let's proceed further. So now let's try to understand software as a service. As I was saying, in the case of software as a service, the benefit is what? In the case of software as a service, the main benefit is that your tool owner, your service provider, they maintain the database and server for us. We, as a customer, we just need to, as a customer company, rather, I would say, we as a customer company, we just need to make the customizations for the organization. But the backend, we never have to care about. Okay, that's what that is about. Let's see the history of the tool. ServiceNow was founded way back in 2003 by Fred. Fred was initially working for Peregrine and Remedy. If you remember, in the last class, we had seen what? If you remember, in the last class, we had seen that Remedy is also a ticketing tool, but the difference between the two tools is Remedy was being delivered as a platform, as a service. The next thing which we need to understand in this case is what? Is it is based on, the tool is based on ITIL standards, and the headquarters of ServiceNow is in Santa Clara, California. Now, we are saying over here in this case, ITIL standard, what does that mean? Let's explore a bit around that. Let's proceed further. So what we are saying over here in this case is that ITIL stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. And what exactly it does, let's explore a bit around that. Whenever you talk about ITIL, ITIL acts as a framework, ITIL acts as a process terminology. If any tool is based on ITIL, ITIL gives a framework or understanding to the tool developers how to make your tool better in comparison to existing tools into the market. When I say so, what does it mean? It means at any particular point in time, let's say, guys, I have a XYZ tool. So suppose I'm building a tool for whatever purpose. It can be library management, it can be ticketing tool, whatever the tool may be doing. If I'm building on ITIL framework, ITIL says that, okay, if you're building a tool, always think about some aspects, some pointers first. How can I provide a tool with minimal downtime? If my product is there, which doesn't crash, which has minimal downtime, obviously the customer satisfaction will be better. So how does ServiceNow work towards that? For that particular scenario, ServiceNow takes, guys, 6 different backup of the production or the go live environment. Because of which, today, if let's say the tool was pointing to server A and the server A crashed, then you just need to give a call to ServiceNow. They will switch over the pointer from server A to server B, and then again your instance is up and ready. So that is one of the perk in there. That is, it has what? It has got minimum downtime. ITIL gives another visibility. It talks about the better performance of the tool. For that, what does ServiceNow do? How does it handle it? ServiceNow uses a node approach. On whichever server the load is running, it does the load balancing. How does it do that? So in the same server, it creates multiple different nodes. Suppose, for example, just a scenario, let's say if 10 people are logging, it will use the node 1. The moment the 11th person logs in, it shifts to node 2. Then again, 10 is just a number, obviously. I'm just trying to explain the concept. So through this, what exactly are they doing is that they are having multiple nodes on which the load is being shared all the time. Because the load sharing is happening, the instance performance will always be better. So that is another point in here. Okay. What next? The next thing in here is, ITIL also gives you the understanding that if you're developing a tool, you should not only deliver the tool as is, rather, it has got a life cycle phase in ITIL which says that, okay, you should continuously improve your tool. Because obviously every day when I'm developing a product, every day there are competitors working on the same vision, on the same area. So to keep your customers still motivated to use your tool, you must keep on evolving. Like if I talk about ServiceNow in specific, guys, ServiceNow brings new version of the tool every year. Every year a new version of the tool comes up. And when I say new version, what does it include? It includes last version issue fixes, if any issue was there. The new version does contain the fix of last version, plus some new features. How does it develop new feature every year? It takes every customer's feedback, what customization they would have loved, what customization they have done. It works towards that. If obviously, if ServiceNow feels that, yeah, it can benefit most of their customers, so ServiceNow revolves around it and builds better configuration. It does better configuration there. That's what that is about. Anyone equate till here? So ITIL is giving these visions to the tool that if you are developing a tool, don't only think about technical aspect, rather think about the demand, the availability, the continuous improvement plan, and so on and so forth. So ITIL itself, guys, is a detailed training in which it talks about those process life cycles. There are, if you'll see ITIL, it has got different life cycle phases of it, different workflow of it. So if you're following the ITIL, yeah, the benefit as I talked about, availability, demand, all these becomes better. But how do we vision that if I'm building a tool on based on the ITIL framework is again a detailed topic. So surely I'm not going to that. I just wanted you to understand that service now is based on ITIL framework. So because of which, whatever are the benefits in the ITIL framework will also get passed over to service now. Anyone, any question till here? As I said in demo classes, we'll only have half an hour session. So I think we are good till here. So if anyone, any question, yeah, please go ahead. So by this, I think I'll end the session. I know it is half an hour, but demos are like that. Please talk to the coordinator, register yourself, guys, so that we can start the regular proper 1 hour sessions. Okay, then thanks everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Good night.